Irrigation. We all know that water is very much essential for all living organisms. Even in crop fields, seeds can germinate only when there is availability of sufficient amount of water. Furthermore, plants also need water for growth and development of flowers, fruits, and seeds. Plant roots absorb water present in the soil. Along with water, plant roots also absorbs essential minerals and fertilizers. On an average, a healthy plant contains 90% of water. Water-containing nutrients get transported to different parts of plants. Water present in plant also protect the plant from frost as well as from flowing hot air. Therefore, a healthy plant requires regular supply of water. The supply of water to the crops at regular intervals is called irrigation. The time and repetition of irrigation is different for different crops, different for different soil types, as well as different in different seasons. For example, in summer season, due to hot climate, evaporation of water through plant leaves and soil is higher, and so irrigation is done more frequently. However, in winter season, due to cold climate, irrigation is not so frequent. Sources of irrigation. Various sources of irrigation are wells, tube wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams, and canals. Traditional methods of irrigation. Moat, that is pulley system, chain pumps, dhekli, rahat, or level system are some of the methods to bring out water from wells, lakes, or canals and irrigate the land. These methods are based on cattle or human labor. Therefore, these are cheaper. However, these are less efficient. Of all traditional methods, pumps are most common. Pumps use diesel, biogas, electricity, or solar energy as fuel. Modern methods of irrigation. These methods are more economical and effective as compared to traditional methods. Sprinkler system. This system consists of vertical pipes provided with rotating nozzle on the top and are joined to main pipelines at regular intervals. With the help of pump, water is allowed to flow through these pipes under pressure. The pressure of water makes the nozzle to rotate and water is sprinkled on the crops similar to rain. It is useful if ground is not leveled or if there is insufficient quantity of water, usually in sandy soil. Drip system. With this system, irrigation is done drop by drop near the plants so that only the part of soil where roots grow is wetted. It is best suited for fruit plants, garden and trees. Due to drop by drop irrigation, there is no water wastage in this system. However, the irrigation needs to be done more frequently. This system is very useful in the regions where the availability of water is poor. So I hope you understood this topic very well. Thank you for watching this video. Protection from weeds and harvesting. Protection from weeds. In the cropland, along with desired crops, many other undesirable plants grow naturally. In the fields, all plants other than crop plants are called weeds. Weeds consume water, nutrient, space and light. Unavailability of all these factors affect the growth of crop. In addition to this, some weeds also release toxins which may damage the crop plant and are hazardous to animals and human beings. Therefore, weeds must be removed from croplands. The removal of weeds from cropland is called weeding. Weeding must be done before flowering of crop plants. There are many ways to remove weeds or control their growth. Tilling before sowing helps to uproot and kill the weeds. Manual removal of weed is done by trowel, that is khurpi or seed drill. Some chemicals called weedicides are diluted to required extent and sprayed with sprayer to control weeds. For example, 2,4-D and methachular. These chemicals are toxic to human body and so must be handled carefully. Before spraying, nose and mouth must be covered with clean cloth or mask. Harvesting. The process of cutting matured crop is called harvesting. In this process, crops are pulled out or cut close to the ground either by sickle or by harvester. Fresh crops contain moisture, so these must be dried in the sun. The separation of grain seeds from harvested crop is called threshing. It is done by thresher. There is another machine called combine, which is the combination of harvester and thresher. After separation, the stem of crop is cut into small pieces and stored as hay. It is used as fodder, that is, food for cattle. Farmers with small holdings of land separates the grain and chaff by winnowing. The chaff, being lighter, flow away with the wind and fall away from the grains. Thus, grains are separated. So I hope you have got good understanding of this topic. Thank you for watching this video. Storage of food grains and food from animals. Storage of food grains. Once farmer obtains grains from the crop, the next task is storage. To keep the agricultural produce for a long time, it should be kept safe from moisture, insect, rats, and microorganisms. If fresh crop contains moisture, then these must be dried in sun. If stored without drying, microorganisms may attack on them and these may lose their germination capacity. Generally, dried food grains are stored in jute bags or metallic bins. But for large-scale storage, silos and granaries are preferred, where there is good protection from rats and other insects. At home, dried neem leaves are used to store food grains. Some agencies like Food Corporation of India, that is FCI, and State Warehousing Corporations, that is SWC, offers to store food in large godowns. In big godowns, specific chemical treatments must be done to ensure safety from microorganisms and pests. Food from animals. Like plants, some animals also provides us with different kind of food. Cow, buffalo, she-goat, she-camel provides milk. Fish is major part of diet in coastal areas. In order to obtain food from animals, these must be provided with proper food, shelter and care. The rearing and caring of animals for food and other products is called animal husbandry. So I hope you understood this topic very well. Thank you for watching this video.